You are taking a live look over in Turkey, where the death toll now rising to more than 22,000 after Monday's earthquake there and in Syria. We've been checking in with Fox News' Greg Palkot to get the latest from Turkey. He joins us now live with a look at the situation there. Greg, thank you so much for being here.
Hey, Josh. Yeah, it's about 4.5 days since the first earthquake rocked this region, and it's stressing folks here on a lot of different fronts. First, the big death toll number, which you have noted, which is just creeping up hour by hour. Now, over 22,000 dead from this country, Turkey, and also in Syria. The injured, by the way, is now well over 75,000. Next, homeless. You've got hundreds of thousands of people without homes. It's now estimated that 12,000 buildings in the region have been either totally destroyed or damaged, and that is meaning also that there are a lot of folks without heat, without electricity, without water, who are desperate for aid. I know what you've been talking about earlier in this hour. We saw Turkish President Erdogan in Adıyaman today. He is saying, he is calling this the worst disaster that Turkey has faced in absolute decades, and he is saying that he will speed up recovery efforts, which he admits is not going fast enough. We also saw Bashar al-Assad, the Syrian president, in Aleppo for the first time venturing into his earthquake zone, and he and other Syrian officials are criticizing the West for holding back on aid, but in fact Syria has also been shunning a lot of help from the international community over the past few years as it deals with its own civil war and terrorism, and so one issue is compounding on another in Syria, and there's a dire situation there. Added to that, some miracle stories. Again, we are approaching that 5-day mark, and from my experience with earthquakes, that's really about it. That's about as much time as somebody can possibly survive underneath all the rubbles. And we got more stories today. Toddlers were pulled out of the rubbles, couples, entire families, like 6 members of one family were taken away. And we are standing now, Josh, in Gaza, in the city of Gaziantep. Behind us was an apartment building that collapsed, and we reported from here on Wednesday where there was a desperate search for those still trapped inside, including a 17-year-old boy. We talked to his mother. She was desperate because, in fact, she was in the building. She made it out, and the boy was trapped inside. Well, another miracle. Earlier today, this young man was rescued from the rubble. He had been surviving in kind of a basement area that had been collapsed on top of him, but he was able to move around a little bit. He was a pretty athletic guy, so he held up, and he was just incredibly grateful. And we saw scenes of him being brought out. We saw scenes of his mother absolutely over the moon. I mean, this is her family back together again, and for all those stressful moments we spent with her on Wednesday, on Friday, jubilation. So you have the miracles, Josh. You have the rescues, but in fact, yes, that death toll continues to rise, and we're seeing scenes of morgues overfilling, cemeteries crowded, mass graves being dug, and that death toll should continue. But the pressing issue is even more than recovering whatever possible life is still there, is keeping the rest of the lives going in this entire region, with much needed aid being brought in by the international community. The U.S., by the way, we were out with the USAID yesterday, and in one of the hard-hit areas, U.S. as well as, about 90 countries now have offered aid, and many are flying it in, real aid as well as search and rescue teams and other first responders helping out the situation. A lot of action on a lot of different fronts. It's been, again, almost 5 days since these earthquakes have hit, but the problems are only getting deeper and bigger. Back to you.
And Greg, I noticed we've come to you a few different times of the day, and it seems like the crews behind you with those recovery efforts, they are not giving up. It seems like they are working pretty much 24/7 to find whoever they can.
They're not giving up. In fact, actually, this this tells the tale in a microcosm of what's happening all over the region. Yes, we had that miracle story of the 17-year-old brought out from below that rubble right there, but we have also learned that 5 people who were killed in the earthquake incident on Monday bodies of 5 people were pulled out, and it's believed that 6 remain under the rubble. So right now it appears that what this work is all about is recovery rather than rescue. But again, we've seen miracles today, and we could still see some more, Josh.
Hopeful for that. Greg Palkot there with Fox News joining us from Turkey. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks, Josh.